send me the pictures? You ain't gotta worry about it. You ain't gotta worry about it.
I could.
If you want to, that's fine.
The views expressed on this program are not those of intellectualradio.com, its subsidiaries, or sponsors. Encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady ReShell.
Hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It's Health and Wellness Monday, and our topic for today is the truth about supplements. On the last show, I talked to Jeannie Simmons, and we talked about from trauma to triumph. You can head on over to YouTube and type in Intellectual Radio and stay connected for any episodes that you may have missed. The quote of the day is, "A healthy outside starts from the inside." And here is your trending topic for today. Donald Trump was in court today, and a jury selection began in his criminal trial for the hush money. More than 50 potential jurors were dismissed after saying they could not be fair and impartial. Potential jurors will continue to be vetted tomorrow through questions that could signal political views. A panel of 12 New Yorkers and 6 alternative will be selected. Trump was charged last year with 24 felony counts of falsifying business records for his alleged role in the hush money scheme before 2016 election. Trump has pled not guilty. Trump is the first former president in the US history to go to trial for criminal charges. This is only one of the 4 criminal cases that he is facing while being the presumptive 2024 GOP nominee. It may be the only case that he faced jury before the actual election, and he could face jail time if convicted. That is your trending topic for today. If you are tuned in on any form of social media, please like the show, share the show, invite someone else in on the show that you feel may benefit from this valuable information. Our Healthy Solution expert has over 20 years experience as a family physician, and she is impacting lives every single day. She has been educating listeners with her wisdom and experience here on Warriors Talk since 2019. Welcome to Warriors Talk, Doc Michelle. Hey, Doc.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm good.
Happy
How are
Monday.
you? Yes.
I'm good. It's a new week. I'm blessed. Can't complain.
Yes, excited about the show today. This particular topic, I think everybody has questions because everybody wants to live a healthier life. And we try to do everything we can to make that happen. And this is one of those things that we may or may not be able to use. So we'll find out as you're listening to the show.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very interesting topic. Probably 40 or 50% of the population takes supplements and vitamins. And there's been a boom, right? $1 billion industry. And so we just need to be sure that what we're taking is safe, that we really need it, that we talk to our doctor about it, all of those things, because there's certainly a place for vitamins in our daily routine.
So, what would you say is first of all, for those who may be living under a rock and don't know what a supplement is, can you just define what a supplement is?
Right. So supplements come in different forms, liquid, pills, powders, and it's really has minerals, vitamins, herbs that we take to help supplement what we're doing in our daily dietary routine, right? So sometimes if you feel that you may not be having the healthiest diet, you're not eating the best, and you feel that you need some other support, we turn to supplements for that, right? I mean, I'm getting over a cold, and I'll tell you, last week when I started having symptoms, I pumped some vitamin C, I took some echinacea. These are things that, we hear about, and in the medical community, we have some studies that show, yeah, it may work. It's very difficult sometimes with supplements because there's not a lot of studies that are done on them. They're not FDA regulated. And we have some studies that show some benefit from certain things, like if extra vitamin C can help boost your immune system, echinacea, ginseng. Those things can help your immune system and help you fight viruses and colds.
I was on a plane the other day, and a guy was on there. I was sitting next to him. And he was just sneezing and coughing and sneezing and coughing. And the first sneeze, I just threw on my mask, like, oh no, this is not going to happen. But the whole time he's just sneezing and coughing and not covering himself. And I'm just like, really? Like,
Yeah.
and the first thing that I do is I run to Starbucks and get me a medicine ball. And it tends to make me feel so much better when I do get one. And like you said, with the different type of teas, I'm stocking up, putting it in my system, just trying to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can so that, I don't get one of these bugs or viruses out here. And sometimes it still happens. And I'm like, I know I'm doing everything that I can. So why do I have this bug?
Yeah, things happen, and you say that. I had come back from a flight last week Sunday, and usually, and for people listening, even though COVID is much less, I encourage people wear a mask when you're in these sort of crowded, cramped situations. I didn't wear a mask on that plane, but I'll tell you the times where I have worn a mask when I travel, I tend to not come home with something because we're not just protecting from COVID virus, we're protected from all the other viruses too, right? Flu virus, adenovirus, all the other things that can come. And so that's probably what happened to me. And so I told my husband, I'm like, every time I get on a plane, I am putting on a mask because you
Yeah.
can get other things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I had it on going, and then and for some reason I had it on my arm. It was just on my arm,
Yeah.
and I hadn't put it on. But as soon as I heard that first sneeze, I was like, "Oh no." I
That was your
hurried up and put that
reminder.
mask on. And he was looking
Mhm.
at me like, "Why is she putting on her mask?" And I'm just like, "Dude, you're not covering your mouth. You're coughing, you're
Right.
sneezing, and
Yeah.
that's not good. If you know that you're sick, you protect others by putting on a mask." So, like
Right.
you said, even though we don't hear a lot about COVID, it's still out there and we still should be protecting ourselves. And if you know that you have some type of cold, bug, or respiratory infection, put your mask on so that you protect others and from you spreading a germ to other people, especially other people who may have, an issue with their immune system.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. We talk about protecting others as well as protecting ourselves, but that just got on the topic of, and that's what made me think of when we talk about what topic we're going to talk about. I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about supplements. Let's talk about vitamins because people reach for them for different reasons. They're very popular. Some of the most popular ones, multivitamins, vitamin D, omega 3. People talk about a lot, and so we'll talk about some of those. We can't touch on everything today. I'll tell you, we have books on like herbal medicine and minerals and vitamins because there's so many. There's so many interactions that they can have and side effects that they can have that even as a medical doctor, if a patient is telling me about some vitamin they decided to take or some herbal supplement they decided to take, I pull out my book, my peripheral brain, and I look it up and I say, well, you know what? If you're on that and you're taking this medication, it shows that there's some interactions. So we don't think about that because we think, oh, I bought it over the counter. I can take as much as I want, but they still have side effects and they still can interact with your medications for sure. So you want to be careful with that.
Yeah, so more is not always better. could actually be
Yeah.
dangerous. You're so right.
Yeah, because there's some vitamins that show that too much of them can possibly increase your risk of cancer. I was reading that too much vitamin E can increase the risk of prostate cancer. Too much beta carotene, which is another mineral, can increase the risk of lung cancer in smokers. And so, and then other vitamins have side effects. Too much of a vitamin can make you feel nauseous or headachy and vomiting. And so, important to know how much you're taking and whether you're taking what we call the recommended daily allowance of what you need, right? Because we've got these super vitamins, right? They're like 500% of the RDA. When you read the back of the bottle, what's the recommended daily allowance? And you really don't need more than what is recommended. But for many people, if you're not eating, we always talk about a plant-based diet where all those fruit, those minerals, and those antioxidants are, then you may need a supplement.
So, me being a vegan, and I know that I'm not getting that protein or vitamins from that animal fat. So, I have to get it probably from supplements because I'm not going to get it from fruits and vegetables, everything that I need from them.
Yes, correct, correct. So things like for omega-3, for example, right? There are some nuts, flaxseed oil. There are other places you can get omega-3, but we think of omega-3 as fish oil, right? And first, folks, if you're eating fish once or twice a week, you probably don't need to take extra omega-3, but we know that omega-3 has some benefits, right? It's been studied to help people who have heart disease to prevent that from, getting worse. If you have heart failure, it can help that. So you want to be sure that you have a conversation with your provider because, yeah, it maybe you do need omega-3 fatty acids for those other benefits that it has for us.
So, omega-3 fatty acid, it protects the heart.
Protects the
And
heart, can prevent strokes, lots of things. Even your skin, right? It can help with that. It helps joints and inflammation. And so, for some people who have arthritis, it can be of benefit as well. And so, it's one of the most popular ones. And it's one we say, okay, you can take that because the benefits probably outweigh any risks for you.
so for me, so I could get mine from the nuts and the flaxseed. Okay, so that's great because like for me, I don't like taking any medicine. Like I'm a person that I don't get headaches, but if I got a headache, I probably wouldn't take anything for it. I would just kind of do something natural to relieve it with any type of medicine.
Yeah.
Now for like the chemo and all the pre-medicine I had to take before that, you know, I had to do that. But I have not taken any medicine since then because it's like, other than when my doctor prescribed me those pills, and my system was like, no, we don't like
Hmm.
these.
Hmm.
For when I had the tooth issue, so I tend not to take any type of medicine now. And I used to be a person who took supplements all the time. Like I would go to the store and I would rack up on supplements for different things because I'm in the gym and I want to make sure that I'm healthy. But if you are eating a well balanced diet and you're healthy, what are supplements doing to you if I'm already getting these things?
Right. So if you're already getting a good plant-based diet, you're probably not missing most of your minerals and vitamins. There are some, right? Even we think about vitamin D, because vitamin D we really get from the sun. And for the most part, okay, I'll say back in the day when people were outside, even prior to COVID, or people were working in the farms, in the fields, they were getting lots of sun, right? But now even when we're outside, we are educated to wear sunscreen, so we really don't absorb all the rays of the sun that can help our body convert to vitamin D. And so we need that. And so you get vitamin D from foods, you get it from milk, you can get it from your fruits and vegetables. But the if you feel that you may be vitamin D deficient, get your level checked, right? Because doctors can do that. There's some symptoms of vitamin D deficiency that might be bony aches, that might be some fatigue. Those are the usual things that we notice if you're vitamin D deficient. And so you can get your level checked. And if it's low, because I see it a lot in patients, right? We're indoors a lot. We're working from home. We're just not outside. Maybe we're lactose deficient, so we don't drink milk and we're just not getting enough of that. And so we do recommend getting your level checked and supplementing it if you need to. So there are some vitamins that you may still need, even though you're eating a good, healthy diet to supplement that.
So, with vitamin D and people of color, do our levels tend to be lower?
They tend to be lower, right? Because of the melanin in our skin, we don't even absorb as much of the sun's rays when we go out. And so we tend to have lower levels. I've seen levels in the single digits in patients, and your level should be somewhere between 50 to 100. And so we will supplement those folks, and they will say that they feel better, right? They're a little bit less achy in the morning. The bony symptoms aren't as great. The fatigue is better. And so those things are real. And certainly, and I know people tend to just take those vitamins without getting their levels checked. But for that one, I would say certainly get it checked, because if your level is normal, there's not much benefit to taking more of it.
Okay. Now, there is a data survey that took place with the National Health and Nutrition, and they said among U.S. adults age 20 and over 57% use dietary supplements. Do you feel like younger people are using it more, or older people? Is it like a balance?
Yeah. So we know that good health starts young, right? It doesn't start when you're 60. You have to have good habits earlier. And I do see that more younger patients are going to the natural sort of supplements more so than probably when we were in our 20s and 30s. Some of that is because we do know more, right? There have been more research done on vitamins and supplements than were done years ago. And when we know more about that, then we tend to do a little bit better. But younger folks also are, some are in tune with their health and their bodies, and they want to not take medicines, kind of like yourself. And so they'll reach for some of those natural things. But I also say, even for the 20-year-olds that are taking the black seed oil, because that can help your immune system, right.
I
Even
love
for
it.
those things, yeah, it's important to have conversations and at least put it on the list when you talk to your doctor, right? So they know if they needed to give you something else, does it conflict with your black seed oil that you're taking,
Right.
right? Yeah. Not that they're going to stop you from taking it, but some things do have interactions. And again, like I said, we'll reach for our peripheral brain and look that up. Okay, if I have to give you an antibiotic for something, but I know you take black seed oil, or you take, echinacea or something else, I want to be sure that there's no interaction with that.
Yes. Jeannie on Instagram said her 24-year old son loves to take vitamins for ultimate health. So younger people are taking it.
They are
I
taking
feel
it.
like this generation is they looking at the older people and they're like, that's not gonna be me. I'm gonna be up and walking around. I'm gonna have good health when I get older. So they're paying attention.
Yeah, and I want to know, like, what is he taking? And it may be beneficial, right? If you're taking things that help boost your immune system, help with if he's working out a lot and feels like he has a lot of pain, he may want to take some more vitamin C because it helps inflammation. We have surgeons who, after patients have surgery, they will prescribe them to take extra vitamin C because it can help with the sort of inflammatory reaction that happens after surgery. And so they'll recommend that as well. So there's good places for those supplements in the body in the healing process.
Wow, I didn't know that about vitamin C and inflammation. That's
Yeah.
good information. So I wanted to go back to the black seed oil because I love black seed oil and I'm always pushing it on people. I remember being when I was doing chemo, before I took chemo, my doctor was asking me, was I on anything herbal? And I mentioned the black seed oil, and she was like, let me go and look it up just to
Yeah,
see if
exactly.
it's going to
Right.
interact with the chemo. And so she came back and said, can you just hold off on the black seed oil until you're done with the chemo? And then you can start taking it again. And I remember, so when I was done with chemo, I started taking it again. But then when I had to have surgery, they asked me again, are you taking anything? And I said, the black seed oil. They said, can you stop taking it at least 2 weeks before surgery? Because it's a natural blood thinner and you don't want to take it. So I was like, okay, fine. And the reason why I take the black seed oil is because I had blood clots before. And to keep me from getting on Coumadin again and blood thinning medicine for the rest of my life, I would rather thin my blood naturally than to be on medicine. So I do the black seed oil because it naturally thins my blood.
Yeah, and that's a good point because if you were someone who was on a blood thinner, right? If you were on a blood thinner and you saw, oh, a black seed oil helps, inflammation or immune system or something for another reason, you might start taking black seed oil in addition to your Coumadin, thinking, oh, it's over the counter. But right, if you're taking two blood thinners, now you're at risk for GI bleeding. You know, we have hemorrhagic
Yeah.
strokes. The other things that can happen. So that is a really good point that you bring up. That I'm so glad that you told your doctor, right? Because I can tell you, there's so many that don't. They think, oh, it's just this thing I take. It's just this thing I take from the Walgreens or whatever, and they don't think about it, but they can interact.
Yes. I even told my mom because she takes high blood pressure pills and she's a diabetic and she takes high blood pressure pills. I said, it may not be a good idea for you because those high blood pressure pills may be already thinning your blood a little bit so that you can have a stroke or a heart attack. So you may not want to take it. And then I don't know how it's going to react with the diabetes medicine. Like,
Right,
is it going to wipe it out? Or,
right,
I mean,
right.
like, if you take it, you may want to take it once a week, not every day.
Yeah, and then again, like you're saying, just let your doctor know because just like your doctor, right? We can't remember all the side effects and interactions, but we know where to go and find that information. So I will tell patients all the time, bring in the bottle of all the supplements that you take. Let me put them in the list, right? And now with electronic medical records, some electronic medical records have the ability to even cross-reference herbal supplements, right?
Nice.
For a long time, it was only actually prescribed medications, but we know now that people are taking these. So more and more electronic medical records have that ability because we need to know that because you could have significant side effects from it.
Mhm. Jeannie says, I agree, taking chemo pills can interfere with some supplements.
Yeah, and we know that chemo has many side effects, right? And sometimes you're looking for relief from something, right? And taking extra supplements can be beneficial, but it's good to have that conversation with your provider, right? There are things that can certainly help. Taking calcium will help your bones, right? Vitamin D can help your bones if you're aching. And sometimes we reach for supplements if we're nauseous to help with that too.
I remember not wanting to take the pills that they were giving me for chemo, being nauseated, which I was really never nauseated, but they give them to you anyway, just in case. And so I would go home and use ginger, and it would help for that. And it was just something
Right.
natural
Yeah.
that I wanted to do to kind of eliminate,
Mhm.
the 7 pills that I was taking before chemo.
Yeah. Sometimes we recommend ginger for pregnant women, just a little bit if they're having lots of morning sickness. They can do that as well. There's another supplement called St. John's wort
Oh, yes.
that people like and we know can help mild depression symptoms. But St. John's wort also can interact with blood thinners. And so that's important to know, right? That if you're doing that for, mood, that it has interactions and it interacts with other medications as well. It's one of those supplements that we know actually can help depression symptoms, but we also know that if you're on a bunch of medicines, please tell us that you're on that one
Yes.
because it can interact. There's many interactions with St. John's wort, but it is a good medicine for mild to moderate depression symptoms.
What are your thoughts on CMOS?
I don't have a lot of experience with CMOS. What are you using it for?
To get all of the 92 minerals that I'm not getting because I'm a vegan, and you get
Yeah.
all the minerals from just using it.
I've heard great things about CMOS anecdotally, right, from patients and others that it can help because again, CMOS is a plant-based, right, thing. I don't know of interactions. I would have to look that up, but I do know that a lot of people take it because it helps with inflammation and it helps with energy as well and that fatigue level.
Yes, I guess for me, I'm trying to do everything natural
Naturally.
so that
Yeah.
I won't have to depend on supplements. I remember, Doc Michelle, when I was done with chemo and my doctor, you lose a lot of weight. I was really thin. So my doctor was like, okay, this is natural. It comes with it. So I'm going to send you to a nutritionist so that you could get back to, the weight. So I said, okay. So she sent me and the nutritionist. I'm like, okay, what supplements can I take so that I can? She was like, hold on.
She said, what?
She was like, wait a minute. I was like, well, what supplements? I need to know what. And she was like, hold on. We're going to talk about what you're eating first. So she was asking me like what I eat. And she was like, okay, we're going to get everything. We're going to try to get everything through our foods first
Yeah, yeah,
before we add the supplements in. I was really surprised. I was like, what? And she was like, if you are eating a well balanced diet, then there's no need for supplements. So let's work on that first. And then we'll talk about if we need to supplement. I was like, oh, I just knew she was going to, read
yeah,
off this list to me about some
yeah.
vitamins.
Right. We always talk about there's no supplement for a great nutritious diet, right? It's so hard to do sometimes, right? Because we live in a world of we go, go, go. We don't have enough time to really cook a full meal. And so fast food is our reach option. And there's not a lot of plant and fruits and vegetables in the fast food options unless you get the salad. And so we tend to reach for supplements because we're not eating the best diet. But I always say, and on your show, I'm like, wherever you can increase your natural nutrients is where you want to go. So I say with breakfast, if you're having whatever you're having for breakfast, throw some sliced apples next to it, throw some oranges, wherever you can sneak that in, right? I always, when I have a salad, I'm trying to put stuff in it, apples and nuts and other things that can give me those antioxidants. That when we talk about cancer, antioxidants, your vitamin A, C, E, the things that give your fruits color, lycopene, beta carotene, that's in the fruits and vegetables. That's the antioxidants that helps to reduce the damage to our cells that living in the world does, right? Pollutants, the bad things we put in our body causes damage to cells, and your antioxidants get rid of those, help to get rid of those damaged cells, and that's in those vitamins and minerals that we're looking to get through our multivitamins to help because we don't get enough of it in our daily diet.
Jeannie
We
says,
tend not to.
eat the rainbow.
Oh, I love it. Yes, Jeannie. I patients all the time. I tell them, look at your plate. Before we start to think about how much of this and how much of that, look at the plate. Is it colorful? Because if it's colorful like the rainbow, you're getting the right nutrients. You're getting your minerals and your vitamins. If you think about, I'd say a hamburger with fries, right? It's all beige, brown. There's really no color on that plate. But if you add some lettuce to it or you add some fresh tomatoes to your burger, then you've now added some things in. So think about where you can add those things in, even in your regular diet. If I go out, I'm always like, give me the side of broccoli. It's not my favorite, but give me the side of broccoli so I can sneak that in with my burger.
Right.
So that's how you get that. Eat the rainbow. That's the
Yeah.
takeaway message.
Now, she had a question about honey. She says, do you have any information about, is it Mantuka honey or raw honey?
Honey has shown to have some anti-inflammatory
Manuka.
properties.
I think it's
Manuka.
Manuka is.
Manuka, the
Manuka.
Manuka honey, raw honey. I mean, we know honey can have some anti-inflammatory properties. That's why you talked about the medicine ball from Starbucks earlier, right? It's got some herbal teas, it's got honey, it's got lemon, all of these things that have sort of natural anti-inflammatory properties. Honey, we think in small doses in your tea and things help, but it also helps like allergies, we think, and that's a inflammatory process as well. So if you are not diabetic or concerned about your sugar intake, then you can put honey in your tea, and things like that that can help with some inflammation.
I think some people, sugar versus honey, they'll go with the honey versus the sugar because it feels like it's the safer option.
The honey is easier sort of broken down in our system than the man-made sort of sugar things that we have, but it's all in the fructose sugar family. But we think that honey in its natural form can help with some inflammation as well. But again, it's one of those, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, right?
Okay, I want to take a quick break, you guys. If you are tuned in, this is Warriors Talk. I have Doc Michelle on here, and as you can see, she is spitting out those gems, and we're talking about supplements, the truth about supplements. So I'm going to take a quick break, and I want to talk about my trip to New York. I went to New York this weekend with the National Breast Cancer Coalition. They paid for me and my daughter hotel room, and also they paid our flights, and they're reimbursing me for my Uber rides to and from the airport. And I was honored as one of their national grassroots advocates for 2024. So I was really excited about that. I got to sit in on their gala, and let me tell you, they raised 1.5 million.
Ooh.
It might have been more than that. And I was like, this is a gala. It was so nice. The room was packed. Like everything was so packed. I mean, it was me and another honoree, and they just treated us so nice. Like everything was just so nice. I got to see a gala on another level. And I was just like, this is how my galas should be. Like, people have the money to donate. You just have to have the right people in the room. And let me tell you, they wasn't afraid to, when they called out who want to donate 100,000, people was raising their hand. Like, you have to have the right people in the room. So I was excited to be a part of that. I'm also going to Washington with them, the 4th through the 7th. We are going to have an advocate leadership summit. And then on that 7th, we're going to go and visit our congressmen and women. And we're trying to get them to enact legislation to waive the 24-month waiting period for Medicare and the 5-month waiting period for Social Security disability for those individuals who are dealing with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. So we're going to be storming the Capitol on that day. We're going to be up there by the bus loads, and they're going to have the education sessions first. So they're going to, educate us first and tell us and show us how to do it. And then they're going to allow us to go ahead and talk to our congressmen. And we have been communicating with them throughout the year. So I've been selected as the team lead for Illinois. So throughout the year, we have been talking to our congressmen and women, just, educating them on what we're doing and why we need their help and why it's important. So I'm excited. So I want to, thank you. So I took my daughter too, the one that's graduating. She's a senior. So I took her with me so we can have some bonding time before she graduates. Awesome. So this was my award that I won. And then I want to play my speech because they gave me a chance to say some remarks. So I'll play that really quickly. Thank you so much, Jeannie. I appreciate it.
Good evening. I want to extend my sincere thank you to the National Breast Cancer Coalition for this award. Congratulations to my fellow advocate honoree, Denise. My breast cancer journey began in 2010 when my sister was diagnosed and died of breast cancer. all within 8 months. She was 52 and she left behind 4 children. Her experience opened my eyes to the devastating impacts of a metastatic breast cancer diagnosis, for which there is no cure. A few years later, I received my own breast cancer diagnosis. My youngest of 5 children was 18 months. I had just stopped breastfeeding her a few months earlier. My eldest, my 18-year-old son, just signed up for the military. He was afraid to ship out, worried that I wouldn't be here when he got home. My eldest daughter stepped up immediately to take care of her younger siblings, including my Kayla, who's here with me tonight. My children acted with incredible strength during my breast cancer diagnosis, but I wish they hadn't had to. I decided then and there that I would reach back to my community in Chicago and help others find opportunities to act before, during, and after a cancer diagnosis. Through my organization, Warriors Talk, and through my work with NBCC, I'm determined to help us move beyond awareness towards action. We cannot sit quiet while family lives are ripped apart by breast cancer, like the many women I have witnessed with metastatic breast cancer disease. I'm so proud to have joined NBCC's incredible network of survivors, advocates, and experts. NBCC tackle issues that no one else would face. And you know what? They figure out how to solve them. Everyone with a breast cancer diagnosis deserves access to affordable health care, like the kind that NBCC is working for on Capitol Hill. Everyone deserves drugs. Everyone deserves drugs that are meaningfully improve your ability to enjoy life. Breast cancer survivors deserve to have a voice at what research questions get funded. And we all deserve to have our representatives hear us and fight for us. All of us in this room tonight, our lives will be changed by breast cancer. Somehow, at some point in time. Being a part of this organization, please know that your donation makes a huge difference. We will end this disease. Thank you.
So that was my remarks once I received my awards. I was excited, you guys.
That is so awesome. You are doing great work, and it was a well-deserved honor for you to turn your pain into purpose and start, Warriors Talk and educating on so many different things on your show. So congratulations. And I know you were in that room for a reason, and you never know who was listening.
Yes, I was surprised at the people that was coming up to me just saying, "Oh my God, your story touched me. I enjoyed it. Like, you're doing a great job. Keep doing it." And then they was asking me about my book. They was asking me about the show. So I was like, wow, thank you, Jeannie. I was like, I'm excited. So yes, it was an honor.
Your platform is about to increase.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yes, awesome.
So we're talking about the truth about supplements. Should we take them? Should we not take them? Are there benefits to taking supplements? Are there dangers to taking supplements? I know I heard, hey, Angela, I heard that they can be toxic. And we talked about this a little bit. If you are thinking that you're going to take a lot of it to get the benefits, if you're taking medicine and you haven't checked in with your doctor to say, hey, I'm taking this, it can be toxic. I think a lot of times we don't want to go to the doctor, so we try to diagnose ourselves. So we go get the supplements, to say, oh, this is aching me, so let me get the supplements versus going to the doctor and maybe it'll take care of it. But sometimes it may put a Band-Aid over it or make the issue worse.
Right. Yeah. A lot of herbal supplements, and there are thousands of them. Some of them can affect the liver or the kidneys, depending on how they're metabolized through your system. And so if you already have those issues, or you're taking lots of medications and you add something on top of that, you put yourself at risk for serious issues. And so, you always talk about like what, and we're early, but what's the message, right? The message is really let your provider know if you are taking supplements, and know that there are some that, from a medical perspective, we think can be helpful. We talked about omega-3. We didn't touch on CoQ10. We hear about CoQ10 a lot, coenzyme Q10. And that's another antioxidant. We do think that there is some benefit for people with heart disease. It's an antioxidant, so it can help protect your cells from damage, right? It's hard to take too much coenzyme Q10, but another thing that you want to discuss with your provider, because we do think that there are some that have good benefits. In addition to that, vitamin D we talked about can have anti-inflammatory properties.
Well, while you're on the subject of talking about the benefits, here are some health benefits that talks about supplements. So they have the vitamin B12. It says it could help keep the nerve and the blood cells healthy.
Yes, important, because we do in certain patients who may come in with nerve pain in their feet or in their hands. We check a vitamin B12 level to make sure that's not causing their neuropathy. And in certain patients who are heavy drinkers, they tend to be low in that particular vitamin. And so we recommend the vitamin B's, B12, folate for them.
And we know the folic acid, which helps reduce birth defects. We've heard of
Yes.
that. You talked about the vitamin D, calcium, help promotes healthy bones.
Healthy bones, yes. And that should start with kids. We talk about taking your milk, right? Because milk has calcium, and in certain meats and fruits and vegetables has calcium. But as we get older, we tend to not absorb the calcium as well, because when our vitamin D level is low, vitamin D and calcium can move together, right? So if your vitamin D level is low, you tend to not be absorbing your calcium as well. And so that's why you see there's like calcium with vitamin D over the counter a lot as a supplement. We put them together, they tend to work better. So calcium for sure as we get older, to keep those bones strong, along with vitamin D.
Now they have vitamin C and E, which can prevent cell damage.
Those are those antioxidants we talked about. Vitamin A, C, and E are the antioxidant vitamins. Again, you shouldn't really need to take extra vitamin A, vitamin C, or vitamin E if you're getting that in your diet. And again, vitamin C for sure, we know a boost of that when you're sick or have a cold or a virus, or healing from a surgery or something. We do recommend that, because again, it protects the cells from the damage that is caused by living in the world of pollutants and everything.
Mm. Then it has zinc. It said it can promote skin health and slow down vision loss.
Yeah, zinc is an interesting supplement that we think can help vision, along with lutein is another supplement that is, you'll see that on the shelves too. And lutein is found in your fruits and vegetables. And again, it's a supplement, but if you can get it through your fruits and vegetables, you shouldn't need the supplement for your vision health. But lutein, zinc, those are things that can help vision health. And zinc, we know, also can help inflammation in your immune system. We were using it a lot when COVID was
oh yes
out. Yeah, we were telling folks that they could take some extra zinc to help.
Now, I didn't know that melatonin helps with jet lag.
Yes, melatonin can, because we think of it as the sleep supplement, right? It helps us sleep, but it can help you sort of regulate, because if you're jet lagged and your system is sort of off and you can't get to sleep at the regular time that you normally would have because you're coming from Europe or wherever, that you can take that melatonin and it can help you get to sleep and fall asleep naturally, and help with the jet lag.
Wow. Now, they said despite the amount of research that has been done on supplements since 1999, the National Institute of Health has spent more than $2.4 billion studying vitamins and minerals. It says scientific evidence isn't completely clear.
Right. There's no, we have we'll do a study, the NIH will do a study, or someone will do a study, and then it'll show some benefit, and then someone will do another study, and maybe there isn't so much benefit. And so we have sort of this mixed bag of studies. And from an NIH standpoint, we can't say like definitively certain all these supplements and herbal things make a difference, but there are some that show some consistency. The ones we talked about already, the omega 3s, the vitamin D, the coenzyme Q10, some of them have more consistent studies.
Awesome. So I want to really quickly, as we wrap up, we always get into the facts and the myth as it relates to our subject. So I think you talked about more is better already when it
Right.
comes to vitamins.
More is not always better because you can have toxic levels in your system. Right.
What about if the label says natural?
So there's all these sort of buzzwords that can be on these bottles and that say natural, and that doesn't mean that it's safe because they're not as regulated as other medications, so you don't know what's in them for sure. And not because it's natural means it doesn't interact with other medications, right? Kind of, we talked about too much vitamin A or too much vitamin E can increase your risk of prostate cancer. And so, although it's a natural thing, right, it doesn't mean it's right for you. Just be sure to just read all the information that you can and make sure that you let your provider know as well.
Angela said, what is biotin supplements?
Biotin is a form of vitamin B as well, and we think that that helps hair, skin, nails. Again, that is a supplement. That is a mineral that we find in plants and green things. So again, if you're eating, you probably won't need it, but we do see that a lot in your hair, skin, nail vitamins because we think that it can help with that.
And then she says, how do you feel about turmeric?
Turmeric?
Yes.
Turmeric. Oh yeah, turmeric is good actually. Turmeric we think really helps with inflammation. It comes in powder form. You can put it in your food. It comes in tablets and gels. In moderation, some studies have shown that it can help with inflammation, and so I recommend it for patients, especially if they have significant arthritis or inflammatory conditions. I'm always putting that up against what medications they have, right? Because we have booklets that we can check in to be sure that that turmeric may not be interacting with their medication. But we have pretty good studies that show it may have good anti-inflammatory properties. Thanks for mentioning that.
Awesome, because I love turmeric. I drink
Yeah.
it with my tea, with my green tea.
Yeah.
Here is a website that you could go to, and you can look up the supplement that you are taking to make sure what's in it. Because a lot of times we don't know. And a lot of times they're advertising on the bottle that it has a certain ingredient in it, and it's not even in there. So,
And this is a good point because this USP is an independent organization that makes sure that they try to make sure what's in your vitamin is what's supposed to be in it. And so I will tell patients that sometimes if you can find that USP um, designation on your supplement bottle, it at least means it went through this process and was sort of checked by this US pharmacopoeia organization because they've taken it upon themselves because the FDA isn't doing it. We have another organization that does sort of monitor what's in these vitamins and supplements. And so try to look for that USP label on the vitamin bottle because at least you know it's gone through this process of making sure it is what it says it is. I don't see it a lot, but it's out there, the USP label.
awesome. Dr. Michelle, thank you so much for just being consistent and educating us about getting away from awareness and making sure that we're making healthier decisions about our life. We have no excuse because you're here every single month giving us this information. So I appreciate you, and I know the listeners do too.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure to, share some of this with, your viewers and listeners for sure.
Can you give us some words of wisdom as it relates to the truth about supplements?
Yes. You started the show saying, the beauty outside is not as important as what's going on with your health inside. And that's so true, right? We want to be sure that we are getting a good, nutritious, plant-based diet as much as we can, getting our protein from the healthy meats as well. But when you feel that you are not getting that, that's where supplements come in. But there is a very important part when you're taking supplements is making sure that you share that information with your provider, because there are some supplements that are very good and can be very useful for us, and then some that can be dangerous and interact with medications, as we talked about, that some can increase blood thinner or make your blood thinner not work as well. Some can cause liver issues and kidney issues. But I do feel that there is a place for supplements. Your omega-3s, your coenzyme Q10s, some of the multivitamins can help if you feel that you're not getting that. But definitely have a conversation with your provider. Bring in those supplements. I tell you, I like to see that because I'm always amazed at the amount of bottles that patients bring in. And so don't hesitate to have that conversation with your provider, and they should be open to educating you on what's helpful for you and what's not.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You are so welcome. Keep
You guys,
doing the great work.
thank you, Doc. You guys don't go anywhere. Coming up right here on Intellectual Radio is Pillow Talk with God. I will leave you with these words of wisdom. Let food be thy medicine, and let medicine be thy food. Join me next Monday right here on Intellectual Radio at 6 p.m. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we are changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on intellectualradio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.